Hey guys, FDV here. Well, it's that spooky time of year once again, and I figured instead of doing a review or something, why don't we celebrate with a fan film idea? What's a big tradition we like to keep up during the Halloween season? Horror movies, right? And what's one of the most popular horror movie genres? That's right, slashers. Although not as popular as they were in the 80s, slasher movies still have a huge cult following. And who's the king of the slasher villains? Jason Voorhees. Although he wasn't the first horror movie slasher, he's still the most iconic. I mean, come on, when you think slasher movie, you think of a machete-wielding, hockey mask-wearing maniac. Or maybe some dude in a William Shatner mask. Since the remake, it's been hard for Friday the 13th to get another movie. Fans want it, there have been rumors, maybe a few scripts have been written, but as far as I know, all plans for another movie have fallen through. But recently something has come out that has brought interest back in the Friday the 13th franchise. A video game. No, not that video game, though that was pretty fucking sick too. I'm of course talking about the Friday the 13th video game. Sure, you can complain about all the bugs and maybe the graphics aren't the best, but the amount of love and effort that was put into this project is just amazing. I just love how they took this movie-based game back to the source, getting people like Tom Savini and Kane Hodder involved. It's so clear that the creators are fans of the movies and have respect for the work put into them. And in terms of adapting a feel of a movie to a video game, this one does it flawlessly. Another thing I love is that they gave us new characters and a new Jason. Sure, the characters are modeled after people who donated or are inspired by previous Friday characters, but it's still pretty cool just to see a new set of teens coming to Camp Crystal Lake. And I know the developers are already working on a story mode apparently, but I started thinking, what would a movie with these characters and this new Jason be like? So I started writing a script and I even got some guests involved, so sit back, relax, and enjoy as I present to you my new fan film idea, Friday the 13th, Jason Comes Home. I know, that's sounding more like a Halloween subtitle, but whatever, it's a sequel to Jason Goes to Hell. We open up with a scene slightly inspired from a rejected Friday the 13th movie. The time period is somewhere around 1956. Two teens, a boy and a girl, are messing around in the middle of the woods where they know they won't be found. It's not Crystal Lake. They kiss and fool around on the floor for a bit, the boy copping a feel on the girl's breasts as they chuckle and giggle. That is until the girl notices a figure looming over them. A big shadow. Her face goes from pleasure to horror as she sees the figure holding a weapon. The figure moves closer with powerful stomps. The girl taps the boy on the shoulder and screams for him to get up. He turns around to notice the figure right on top of them with a machete. The shadowy figure is a man in overalls wearing a bag over his head. He swings the machete down and both the boy and the girl roll to the right. The machete gets stuck in a lump of wood that was lying next to them. The boy and the girl clumsily get up and run. The bag-headed man tugs at the machete, but it won't come out, so he leaves it there and keeps walking. The teens come across a tree with a ladder on it. They look up to see a cheaply made treehouse with childish writing on it. As they look up and focus on that, the man in the bag has caught up with them as he wraps his big, rock-like hands around the boy's throat and chokes him out as his eyes roll back and the air is squeezed from him. The girl panics and climbs up the treehouse. There's a sign nailed next to the front door with scratchy writing on it that says, Jason. Inside, there's a bunch of drawings and toys. One picture has a little Jason holding hands with his mom. There's also a big man on a few of them that's supposed to be his dad, but he's depicted as scary and mean to Jason and his mom. The girl realizes she's cornered herself as the baghead makes his way up the ladder. She can't do anything except scurry into the furthest, darkest corner of the treehouse as the whole thing rattles and shakes from all the commotion. The man in the bag finally makes it up, grabs her, and with all his strength, throws her out of the treehouse as she lands on her neck and dies. The man wearing the bag then takes one of Jason's drawings of his dad off the wall and looks at it. The man is panting from all the activity. He takes off the bag to reveal it's Jason's quote-unquote father, Elias Voorhees. We transition to him stepping over the dirt of a recently dug grave, and we all know who's under there. We cut to the first-person angles of the first movie as we see a hand with a knife cutting vegetables. The door opens and the camera turns to see Elias coming in. The hand in frame takes the knife. "Pam, I'm home," Elias says. He walks up to the camera and shows the picture. "Hey, do you mind explaining this?" he asks. The camera goes closer to Elias as his eyes go wide and his mouth hangs open, and a slight gagging noise comes from out of his mouth. The camera pans down to see the knife in his stomach. It then quickly pans back up to his reaction, and then back down as Pamela Voorhees' hands keep stabbing Elias until he falls over dead. She then goes back to cutting the vegetables with the blood on the knife. The camera pans back to Elias' body, and the camera zooms into the shocked expression stuck on his corpse before we fade to white and we get the title screen, much like in the original.